Back in the mid-1990s, I was a cameraman on a short documentary that was shot on Super 16mm film. We had a very limited budget with something like 6 rolls of film, and each roll was 400 foot, so we could shoot approximately 10 minutes on each roll. This meant we had to be really disciplined and simply could not overshoot. But jump forward nearly 30 years, I now shoot on memory cards, and memory cards are relatively cheap and you can shoot hours and hours of footage on them. So now I have the luxury of being able to shoot as much as I want with no constraints. And also, most people in their everyday lives have the ability to record video either on their phone or on a slim camera that just slips in their pocket. And they can record as much as they want as well for little or no money. And for beginners in particular, this can create a big problem. And this leads me on to mistake number 1, recording too much. When you first get your 360 camera, learning to reframe your 360 footage can be a steep learning curve, and you want to make that process as easy as possible. The first time you edit, if you have, say, an hour of footage to reframe, I personally would say that's too much. And if you have much more than an hour of footage, there's a good chance that you will lose the will and the motivation to edit it at all, because the whole process can be overwhelming. I know personally I have shot way too much in the past, whether it's skiing or biking, and I have hours of footage just sat on my hard drive doing nothing. So be honest, let me know in the comments if this has happened to you. The situation is made worse by the fact that we can now get 1 terabyte micro SD cards. And this personally terrifies me, by the way, because you could have potentially 20 hours of footage on one tiny card. And this could be a whole summer's filming or your holiday. And that one tiny card could easily get damaged, corrupted, or lost. And even if you do find the motivation to edit the 10 hours footage from your holiday, it could take you days or weeks to do it. And if you're thinking of using the AI in the app or the studio software to edit the footage for you, even that for that many hours of footage will take hours of processing. If you haven't come to this conclusion already, the answer to this problem is dead simple and is staring at you in the face. And that is to stop pressing record so often. And when you do press record, try and shoot for no more than 1 or 2 minutes at a time. And for some shots, you can even shoot just for 20 or 30 seconds. I did the Stranger Things immersive experience in London with my family, and I shot with the Go 2. And I only shot for 15 seconds at a time, and this meant that the AI edit was able to produce the best shots possible in the shortest amount of time, and I can now look back at those clips easily without it taking my whole afternoon going through hours and hours of footage. Of course, I know that this isn't an absolute truth and that it won't be appropriate or practical for all occasions, and there are some events that you will need to record for longer periods. But I promise you, if you can master the discipline of recording less, that it pays dividends in capturing better footage and saving you a ton of time. But even when you are disciplined enough to shoot the right amount of footage, if you don't understand the full capability of 360 cameras, you will make shooting a lot harder than it needs to be, and even potentially mess up what you're filming altogether. So this leads me to mistake number 2. Traditionally, when you shoot anything with a single lens action camera, you point the camera towards the subject you are filming, and when the subject moves, you then change the angle of the camera to change the shot. Or you can just point the camera towards random things that you want to film. 360 needs a very different discipline. It's referred to as the shoot first and point later camera, because you record everything that's going on around you, and then later in the edit you add what's called keyframes, and you tell the software which direction you want to look. The mistake that some people make is that they move the selfie stick and camera around, chasing the action and trying to almost show the viewer what they are filming while they are filming it. The result can be that in the edit you have some nauseating camera moves, or sudden movement that is just jarring to look at and harder to edit the movement smoothly. Of course, the stabilization is excellent, so we have stable images, but if we move erratically it can still cause problems. Also, constantly moving the camera around means that we're constantly changing the stitch line, which is this section of the camera here, and if we're unnecessarily moving the stitch line across objects that are close to the camera, and also potentially in and out of bright flashes of sunlight, then all of these factors can make the images harder for the software to seamlessly stitch together. The solution is a simple one that has many benefits. You just let the camera do the work. If the action is going on all around you, then you can simply stand in place with the camera on a selfie stick, or you could even place it on a monopod. The hidden benefit to having this passive approach to filming is that you can stay connected to the event itself, and you can be in the moment and enjoy it with no distractions. The camera does all the work for you. But there are some situations where you can break this rule, and if you move the camera around in the right way, it can make your shots look even more professional. So you'll want to watch this video next where I show you how, and I'll see you over there.